So this is the first time that you are here in Hungary,
Yes, in Europe.
I think. In Europe too? Uh-huh. What are your impressions here in Hungary the last week?
Well, I had a nice time with the people of Hungary. There are people that are hospitable, they welcome people, and they are friendly. And we shared many experiences. I learned a lot about the Conal ministry. I visited many places that are touching, and I can see how the people of Hungary, the government and the church join hands together to help those that are in need, so that they will be acceptable in the society, especially when we visited the rehabilitation area where the mental disabled people. I can see how the church and the government and the people of Hungary are concerned about human life, and they are compassionate people. So they take their time to reform those people so that they too can be as a normal human being and can be accepted in the society, and they too can be useful and do something with their hands, because we saw them packaging some things, making other things so that they will carry it to the market use. That shows that they too can be useful in the society, despite the fact that they have disabilities, but still the church can transform them with the help of the government to be useful citizens also. So that's an impression to me, actually.
Whom did you meet?
Well, I'm opportunity to meet with the state secretary, and I was in the parliament with the prime minister, and we had a lot of discussion. To me, it's a great thing for me to meet with the government officials, top government officials like that, and they are welcoming, they are hospitable, and I can see they are compassionate people. They have mercy, and they are loving people, and they are tolerant also for allowing us to speak to them, even though this is our first time of coming to Europe. But nonetheless, they accepted us to the parliament and to the office of the state secretary, which is a big office in Nigeria. It's not easy for people to go to that type of places in Nigeria, but here I'm opportune to attend. I'm a Nigerian, but I think I visited Villa once, and even though I'm a citizen, but here you see I'm coming the first time, and I was able to see the highest top government officials, and we discussed about so many things.
You are living in the northern of Nigeria, I heard. And what is the situation of the Christians there? It's interesting for us because we heard about the Boko Haram and another terroristic groups. How can you live there with them?
Well, you know, that's our own area, and that's where we are coming from. There are terrible conditions actually for Christians. We suffered persecution for the past years in the northern part. We suffered under the Boko Haram. Many churches were burned, and houses. Many people lost their houses, lost their relations. Worshiping places like churches, schools, hospitals, some of them were destroyed. But thank God, in the northern part of the state where I'm coming from, the situation is a bit calm. People are returning back to their places, and they are rebuilding their places. But in the southern part of Adamawa state, now we had a different form of terrorists, that is the nomads, the Fulanis, that especially during the rainy season in Nigeria now, a lot of people lost their houses, and you can see them on the street under trees with the mosquitoes and the rain. That situation when I left Nigeria is still going on. many people are still losing their houses. But we pray that the situation will come to an end. But actually there is that kind of persecution and sufferings in that region. Yes.
But what can we do against this situation? What can your church do, and what can we help you?
Okay, well, the churches are trying to help those that lost their properties, to get something to live on. There are food, there are clothes, and there are building of houses and building of schools. Also those that lost their parents, the church is trying to still comfort them and create hope for them, that despite that they lost their parents, the church can still create hope for them. And with health facilities, the church can also help with the health facilities, so as much that we know there is a problem when such things happen, because when there are no hospitals, people are not in their homes, is a great problem. But I know the church can still do something about it, health-wise, educational-wise, and also to help them to return to their various communities, so that they can build their communities once the crisis is over, which we hope it will stop very soon.
You are a bishop in your church. In your church are some churches which are destroyed, you said, and are there martyrs too? I heard that somebody killed in your congregation.
Well, yes, there are people that were killed in our congregations. We lost some pastors, like southern part of the region, the state. Last week we lost one pastor in one congregation, and there are a lot of women that lost their husband and children that lost their parents. I can remember vividly a year ago I organized a memorial service for those that were killed. Some of them were buried massively. Some of them we didn't see their corpse. So we organized memorial service for them. We contributed some little foodstuff and money and clothes for those that left behind. We also organized service for those in captives, because there are so many people that were hostage in the hands of the Boko Haram. So we organize service, we pray for God to intervene. So these are some of the activities that the church is doing in order to create hope for those that are now in dilemma and thinking about their parents. The church is trying to tell them, yes, they have lost their parents, but the church can still stand in for them. We are thinking of creating a scholarship fund. We have started that in my diocese, whereby in the future, after people contributed, maybe we can assist the orphans, those that lost their parents, to help them get good education, books, and also the rest. Presently, we are thinking of constructing a school so that the church will now get a place to train her children, so that they can get good education. These are some of the things that the church is trying to do now.
Tell me something about your church. How big is? How many church members has you, and how many bishops?
Okay, well, presently the Lutheran Church of Christ in Nigeria, that was founded 1913, and started with 5 pastors, were indigenous pastors, were ordained 1948. Today we have about 500 pastors, and then we have about 9 dioceses, 8 dioceses, with the Archbishop, which is the 9 bishops. And then we have about 1.5 or so members, but now we can't give you the exact number because of the killings and the terrorism act. But I know we are large in numbers, and in my diocese where I have about 94 local congregations. That is about 46 districts. And I have under me about 45 pastors. Yes, but the church entirely is 9 dioceses with 8 bishops plus the archbishop. I think we are 9.
And what's the habit of the people? Are they going to the church every Sunday?
Well, that one, yes, because we go to the church every Sunday, and the people are we are committed. Though you can get some few individuals that don't go to the church because of one reason or the other, but 95% are going to the church every Sunday. But Lutherans and non-Lutherans, we have other denominations like Catholics, we have the Church of Brethren, and we have the New Generation churches. We have African churches, the indigenous churches. But all of them, all of us are going to church on Sunday. And I can say people are committed, especially women. They are committed also more than men. That I can tell you.
And I heard that you are translating the Bible too. Can you tell me about your work?
Yes, apart from the work of the church as a bishop, I am also a translator, and I did that in order to help people to get the message of the Bible in their own mother tongue, so that they can read it. And I was able to translate the hymn that we normally sing in the church every Sunday. I also translated the liturgy so that we can have baptism in our own mother tongue, the Holy Communion, the marriage, the confirmation, and the funeral services. And then we just finished the translation of our New Testament, which we will dedicate it and then launch it on November 17th, so that people will continue to use it. And I think that also is a part of evangelism, because it will make the people to feel as if God is speaking to them in their own language. It's their own God also, not a foreign God that maybe speaks to them in another language, but in their own language. And I think they will understand the message clearly more than other foreign language. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And what's the next plan? The Old Testament too?
Yes. After the launching of the New Testament, we are embarking on the Old Testament. We have just started it, but not official, because we have to launch the New Testament before we declare it officially to go on with the translation of the Old Testament. But even the Old Testament, we have finished Genesis and part of Exodus, and I am now working on the Leviticus, which is the most difficult part of the because there are so many things that one need to work slowly on it. But actually, I've started working on the Old Testament with my team, because I have a team that we work together that used to help me. So we are working on it. Maybe I'm thinking that maybe in the next 5 years, if there is good health and the grace of God, I'm thinking of completing the Old Testament. Mm-hmm. But it's a tedious work anyway.
Can you tell me something about your personal faith? How did you become a pastor?
Well, you see, it's a long history, but I will try to summarize. Actually, when I was in the primary school, my father wanted me to go to one of the Bible schools, the Bible college then. Mm-hmm. But my intention actually was to be a doctor. And the simple reason is because in 1979, when I was still a kid, I saw nurses working, just a clinic was opened in our own locality, and I saw nurses wearing white shirt with two black and red biro here. It was good for me, so I wanted to be like them. But along the line, after I finished primary school, I went to secondary school when I got admission to go to another school to study science. My brother said that I will not go because he don't have money to train me as that. So, well, I continued with my education. Along the line, I said, okay, I'm going to join army because I have lost being a doctor. I wanted to join an army. I tried, but I didn't succeed. At long last, an old man called me and said, okay, as I see you, I think it is good for you to go to the seminary. Well, I just went to the seminary because that old man said that I should go to the seminary. So I went to the seminary, and one of those that I hate most in my life is the Fulani people, because they used to destroy my farms, my father's farm. But surprisingly, after the graduation from the seminary, I was posted to one rural areas to work among the Koma people that are living in the hills. And the husband of my partner, Nwanya, posted me to that area. Then he was our education secretary, and I worked there. But at the end, I was asked to be evangelist among the Fulanis, the Nomas Fulanis. So I have no option. I feel as a call from God to work among the nomads. I've been working with the nomads for almost 4 years as a mobile evangelist, following the Fulanis, studying their route, but for 4 years. And from there, I was called back again to work as a full-time pastor in the church, apart from being an evangelist and a pastor in the bush. So it was from there that I became a bishop in 2008. Well, so to me, I think it was a call from God for me to be a pastor, because actually, at the first, I didn't like to be a pastor, but God gradually transformed me and called me to work as a pastor, and now I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying having fellowship with God and following His directives and directions, because I know that what I am doing, I am compelled to do it by God Himself, and I have to be obedient to His voice. And I can see His hands in what I'm doing every day, because what I'm able to do, I don't think it's based on my educational background or my ability, but I think it is the work of God in me, and I appreciate it, what He is doing in me and my family.
Thank you for the interview, and God bless you and your work.
Thank you.